All right. See, I am not unmuted. Oh no. Am I unmuted? Is this working? Because I feel like my computer's lagging. Oh, I should be fine. It was lagging a little bit. All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Wong Chat. We are on episode 47. Yeah, I remember that. Episode 47, and we are talking today with MineralBlu. MineralBlu is an amazing cosplay photographer, videographer, and he also shoots lots of other stuff. His main platform is on YouTube. You can find him on youtube.com/MineralBlu. But he also does many other things. You might have seen his stuff before on Kotaku. He's also an attorney. It's one of his secrets that he can do so many crazy things. I'm sure he'll talk about it too. But as always, we're doing this right now live on Twitch, twitch.tv/MoneyWongPhoto. You can also, of course, watch this on my YouTube, my main one, or on my MoneyWong Chat account. Also, catch some of our bonus content on Patreon as well. Anyway, I'm going to let him describe what he does a little bit more and tell us about his secret. So, what's up, MineralBlu? What's up, Long? How are you doing?
Hey, what's up?
Dude, your setup is a little bit extreme, and I feel like I was surprised when I just saw this. Like, cool, we're doing couch stream right now, and you already have. Technically, I have TV behind me too. I should have start playing. I mean, I could have done that to you. I just don't know. I mean, can I do? I'm gonna try to figure that out while we're talking.
The funny thing is, I've got you in front of me on my new TV, which is on a 75-inch screen.
So you're a TV sandwich.
Yeah. I decided to leave my old TV behind me as a background.
Because earlier you sent me a picture of your setup, and then it was like, oh yeah, right, I remember, because you're doing home renovation. Okay, I don't know if buying a TV considered renovation. I mean, it is. But
I painted the walls. Okay, I painted the walls. I changed up my electrical outlets, and I was like, this would be a good spot for a new TV.
I feel like it's kind of like a cheat day, and I was like, oh, I ran for 5 miles. I guess I can eat a sandwich.
Yeah, I built the IKEA cabinet. I still need to build my bed. Yeah, I've been painting for like the last several days. So yeah,
like you have a 75-inch TV in front of me, which is and how big is the one behind you then?
55.
Jeez.
So my 55 is because
75
my second
and
monitor.
55.
The 55 behind me has become a second monitor.
I feel like I can't really see this because like the photo you sent me, it just seems so regular TV size. I feel like it, but I'm sure if I see it in person, it's gonna feel like so much bigger. Because like the picture that you have was like such a white plain wall, and there was like nothing around it.
Here, actually, let me turn the camera around and you can see it.
Oh no, I showed it already. I did.
Okay.
Yeah. No, you're good. It's just kind of ridiculous. But yeah. So, oh wait, I opened the wrong thing. I'm playing Netflix. Oh no. Close enough. But
Netflix party.
How long have you been doing like actually cosplay music video? Like actually, how did you even find out in the first place? You did photos first, right?
Yeah, I did photos for years before I got into video. So I think my first con I attended was the first con I covered as a photographer was back in 2011, I think. Yeah, so I live in Houston. Yeah, so I shot photos for mainly Texas cons in Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Austin area up until about 2013 was my first out-of-state con.
Okay.
That was New York Comic Con.
So it only took you like 1 year to like, I can't just be here. I need to go further.
Well, and then 2014 was my first San Diego Comic Con, but New York and San Diego were my two cons that I just met. Like, I think I met you at San Diego. I think possibly, and then
I'm not surprised. Yeah,
I met Stella and a bunch of people at New York Comic Con that first year, actually.
And then you just like nonstop going cons after that.
Yeah, so then it started picking up. I kept shooting photos for a couple years, and then I think 2015 I picked up a video camera just as a vlog type thing. And
like
so,
your handheld,
I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, the flip one.
It was like well, actually no, I just in between photo shoots, I would use the video function on my DSLR just to grab like quick clips of people derping and things like that. And so from 2015 to 2016, if you watch my videos back that far, it was definitely a lot more behind the scenes type stuff. It wasn't
It's more
as
like the
much,
party stuff, the
yeah,
hangout. Yeah.
party stuff, or just post shoot, like being silly kind of things. So like I do a photo shoot, and then I'd say, hey, give me a quick clip, just being silly, things like that.
144K? You had 144K now?
Oh,
Jesus
subscribers, yeah. So,
Christ. I
but
just
it
remember
wasn't
you broke
the
100
channel
just a
was
while ago.
the channel wasn't really that big, and then, but I was just doing it for fun, basically. And then 2017, I upgraded my video camera equipment, and I was like, with a stabilizer, and I was like, I guess I'll try to do this video thing a little bit more seriously. And then the channel just kind of took off from there after that.
That's crazy.
Because the reason why I didn't get into videos for the longest time was I didn't want to make videos like there was all that the cosplay community was pretty much inundated with already. Like I didn't want to copy Axon, in his videos.
The OG, yeah. Like
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you discover a new style when it comes to cosplay videography in the last 3 years. Like the one that I'm seeing behind you right now. That is a style that you came up like 2 or 3 years ago, right?
Yeah, I mean, my inspiration was like I would watch a lot of music videos, just not
Mhm.
like actual music, like normal music videos, like Yellow Claw and things like that, and just the cinematography, just the way it would feature the singers and the models in those videos. But I applied that towards cosplay for videography, and just wanted to kind of feature them.
This girl is behind you right now. This Timo. I think I was just hanging out with her at CostuCon too. No,
Oh
PAX
yeah,
East, PAX East, PAX East. Oh, is that from this
oh
year?
yeah. So that was PAX East this year.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, so I did talk to her. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, just kind of kept up with that, and just organically the channel kind of exploded. I'd been working with Kotaku before that, just from a photography standpoint, but once the video aspect added into it, it became like a whole Kotaku package. Every con was just a photo/video package too.
Do you enjoy video more than photo now when it comes to cosplay?
Um, I enjoy both, but in different ways. It used to be that photos took the bulk of my time in editing, because I would spend a lot of time doing full on photo shoots. Like I would do like a full on like session with a cosplayer, and and then it would take me a long time to edit their entire set. And then so basically, eventually got evolved to where I was just doing preview shots and publishing those quickly, and then doing videos, and then basically the preview shots became basically the only shots that I would take.
Do you think
So
like
basically,
is it because of engagement? Because I feel like that is a big part that affects how people start creating content. Is it because video also become more rewarding because it's more engaging with the audience than photos? Because there's so much, we're flooded with photos already at that point.
yeah, I agree. Creatively, I think it gave me something a little bit more to call my own, as opposed to just photos. Because I mean, there's plenty of amazing photographers out there, and there are plenty of amazing videographers out there. But I felt like I could put my own stamp on videography, more so than in photography, and that's kind of where I focused in on. And
Is
and
it
definitely
because like
once
the style wise, or like what is the main reason you think is
well,
created?
I mean, the style, the music. I mean, I personally love the music that I put in my videos, partly just because I like listening to it, and I think basically I make videos that I like to watch, and so hopefully other people like to watch, and it looks like a lot of people do like the same stuff that I like. So for the most part, that's basically been the governing deciding factor in terms of what I choose for my soundtracks and things like that.
Okay.
And then once YouTube started monetizing me, then that was just a game changer.
See, I was actually talking about this yesterday too when it comes to monetization. I mean, I had a point I was deciding like, should I switch to video? because I do, of course, a lot of cosplay photos, but the client's very different. For like making cosplay music video or just cosplay video in general, most likely you're gonna upload it to YouTube, and then the people who are paying you is YouTube from ads revenue, not from cosplayer. But photographers, like, it's different, right? Like, usually get hired by cosplayer because they want to have them to do photo shoots, especially with the rise of like Patreons and all those like subscription service sites. But is it because do people hire you for doing cosplay video? That's not really a thing, right?
No.
Yeah.
So my situation's been pretty unique in that from the beginning, I've always positioned myself more as on the press side as opposed to private, I guess. So my goal at cons, and definitely working with Kotaku has guided me along that way, is that I approach it more from a journalist standpoint, a photojournalist standpoint. So I'm documenting cosplays in video and photo format. And so from a freelance journalist type of model, that's kind of what I'm coming from. So I almost never charge anyone for photos or videos because my compensation is already through getting press badges and then publishing content on Kotaku and YouTube, basically.
Similar. Like, I don't really do a lot of charge shoots. At least not on. Like, here's my policy usually is that if the cosplayer is not making money from it and I'm happy to shoot, then I don't really charge them for it. It's just no point. Yeah.
The only time I've ever actually charged is when it's outside of a con and they're charging and they're asking, basically on our own time.
Your day rate.
It's not related. Yeah, basically not related to any sort of coverage. Like they need like a shoot for a video / photo package for their OnlyFans or Patreon content, basically. And so that's the only time I ever charge someone, is because there's an expectation that this is something that's outside of any sort of con coverage. It's on our own time. So basically, and I think that's generally been the case for the most part for most cons, in that they don't expect press to charge for photo shoots, I think. And it's kind of a controversial,
especially weird, right? Because if they give you a press badge, but you also make money out of it.
There's a conflict of interest, yeah. I think there's a conflict of interest. And I know that this is a bigger issue for some cons and other cons, especially with press departments. I know some cons like Colossal Con, for instance, if you are charging for shoots, that was the whole reason why they set aside a separate photographer pass instead of a press pass at Colossal Con, because they knew a bunch of people were not really press. They were just doing photos, and a lot of them, like a Colossal or Katsucon for that matter, they did a photographer pass too. They're charging people for photo shoots, and they know that they're not really press. They're actually just charging for photo shoots, basically.
Especially if they don't really have a platform that publish, then it's not really considered press.
Yeah. And so, a portfolio page technically shouldn't be a press outlet. And if you have a website with your portfolio page, that's not really press unless you have like a ton of people following you because of your coverage of that. But I think I'd say 80% of the photographers that show up at cons fall into that category. They're just guys with cameras that show up.
Exactly. A lot of them are not people who were photographers. A lot of them just became a photographer, or like at least that's something they want to pick that role ever since they get into the cosplay scene or con scene.
Yeah, and those photos really aren't going anywhere that they're taking. They might show up on their Facebook page or their private, personal website. And occasionally you'll see like professional photographers show up at cons, and then the entire community is kind of surprised when these photographers treat it like a traditional, photographer model, and they like put their photos up on like those old-fashioned smug mug type of photo sites where they'll pay to like access the photos.
Yeah,
it's like, that's not. Yeah, so it's
a
not
very
the same
different
model.
industry, right? Like it's very different on both ends. Like I think it's annoying for both because cosplay don't get it, and it's annoying to them, but also it's annoying for someone like me who was from traditional photography. So that's a little bit different for me as well. Like for me, previously, I used to shoot for press. Like I used to shoot for journalistic type of photography, and of course, I'm actually from the modeling world as well. So the whole let's talk about pricing. That is always something that annoys me. I actually had Afto here on the show before, and we're talking about like how crazy it is, like charging in the cosplay scene. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense, especially for photography, because we have people charging for like $50 for like 100 photos,
Like,
stuff like.
I get the model. I think if the general consensus, I believe, is if a cosplayer reaches out to you to shoot, like at Katsucon or something like that, or you advertise like on a Katsucon photography page, and you say your rates, generally the model is whoever does the asking, I think, has been the person that is expected to offer something, basically, whether it be money or trade for photos, or TFP is what a lot of people call it. And so
trade for printing.
I think so I think if, let's say for instance, and I think that's where a lot of the confusion comes, is that like when photographers, like random photographers, will contact a model or a cosplayer, right? A lot of times they'll be like, hey, I'd love to do a photo shoot with you. The cosplay photographer will reach out, and they'll usually pay the cosplayer for that particular, if that's something that's completely one way. Whereas a traditional photographer will always usually expect to be hiring the model, or to be the other way around. I don't know, it's very confusing, especially from which background that you're coming from.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think that's where a lot of the miscommunication happens. A lot of cosplayers freak out when they get asked to take photos at cons, and then all of a sudden they're expected to pay for these photos when it's the photographer that asked to take their photo to begin with. So it's a little confusing from them. And then from a photographer standpoint, if you're not used to the cosplay industry and you show up and you're taking photos of all these people, you're expecting to be paid for all these photos. So it's it's apples and oranges that collide together in these environments. And
then you get some weird grapefruit situation where it's like neither of them knows what's going on.
Yeah. So that's why you don't usually see traditional photographers taking photos at conventions, because it's just a completely different industry.
Well, cosplayer burns so many bridges with traditional photographers too. Like, I have seen photographers who come in and they get really confused, and then people try to burn them, and they're like, oh wow, I don't want to touch this anymore because it's just seems very toxic. It's a very young industry. That's the thing.
Yeah. I mean, you and I have been shooting photos and around for a long time, so we've seen all kinds of people come through. And it's interesting to see how a lot of things have changed and how a lot of things haven't changed through the years, especially when it comes to cosplayers and the relationship that they have to photographers, especially at these cons. I think especially at the larger conventions like AX, you'll still see like the random traditional photographer that will show up out of curiosity. They're like, hey, this seems like really cool. And they'll show up, and they'll honestly just be there out of just curiosity, and they'll start taking photos. And then there's a lot of miscommunication about who has the rights to these photos from a legal standpoint. And then you combine that with perhaps like a cosplayer who's never really been to that many conventions, and all of a sudden gets all these photos taken of them. Then they get confused about, what rights do they have as a cosplayer? What rights do the photographer has as a cosplayer, as a photographer? So you see these miscommunications, and you see these types of arguments. It's a cyclical thing that happens time and time again. Just the players change through the years, basically.
Do you find it funny because you have a legal background, right? Is it funny for you when it comes to like the whole rights issue? Like, because we have better understanding than a lot of beginner photographers about copyrights, print rights, like about the photos. But there's still, no matter how many times we've explained it, I feel like people still don't know about it and they don't understand how it works.
Yeah, I think there's a big disconnect between what is legal and what is traditionally accepted in the cosplay community. Definitely, I am a licensed attorney. I have done intellectual property law and copyright law. But that's a whole nother topic from that standpoint, aside from photography. But generally, the law is, and I think it falls under the journalism / photographer on the street type of street
Right.
photography.
Yeah, it's freedom of speech
Where
under Second Amendment.
basically, if you're in a public setting, and a photographer takes a photo, they own the rights to that photo, which is why you have photographers and videographers that work for like TMZ, freelance photographers
It's
who
literally a job. There's TMC
it's literally
photographer. They spend whole year hopefully to get one, because there are photographers.
they spend all day.
Mm-hmm.
They spend all day on a network hunting down celebrities in like New York and LA and wherever they are. They camp out at the airport, and they'll be ready if they find out someone's coming to this restaurant or landing at this terminal, and they'll be ready to take, before anyone else knows, like even the celebrities, like, how did you know I was going to be here? Things like that. But it's basically designed to protect journalism. A lot of people don't like it because it's basically paparazzi. But the law has been established for many years in that if you're taking photos in a public setting like that, then you as a photographer own the rights to the photo, which is why it's such a lucrative industry. Because if, for instance, if you're a paparazzi and you capture so-and-so celebrity at like some nightclub or some
dating someone else,
TMZ will pay you thousands of dollars for that. And that's an entire industry for that.
There are paparazzi that I know that is their job, which is like they try to get that one infamous shot. Either it could be something scandalous or not scandalous. It could be like, they start dating or whatever. Something like that could last them for a few years. Enough for them, especially the big story.
Yeah, and the same theory applies to photographers that work like in sports and news organizations. A lot of these news channels and sports like ESPN, they don't hire photographers full time. They put out a call for photographers, and it's like Peter Parker and Spider-Man, right? Peter Parker sells photos to the Daily Bugle. So it's been that model for years. And so when you apply that to cosplay conventions, a lot of times, these photographers will show up and they'll take photos of cosplayers. And so the cosplayer in the cosplay community, there's generally a consensus that if you take a photo of a cosplayer, it's common courtesy to ask permission for them to be published somewhere, or if you're going to post it to like some website, or if you're going to be included in some sort of coverage, it's not required though. And so the only time that it becomes a real issue is, and this is also applied to journalism as well, is that if you take photos of someone and it's published in a way that it implies that that person is endorsing or commercialization. So let's say, for instance, you take a photo of a model or a celebrity, and suddenly that paparazzi photo shows up on a billboard, say, Blackpink, and it's a picture of Blackpink, and all of a sudden it's like Pepsi products, right? And so, of course, Blackpink's going to sue you because they're going to be like, you may have taken this photo in public, but we didn't authorize this to be used in a commercial manner. Like, we're not endorsing this. So you can't be using these photos or footage like in a commercial or advertisement setting. So that's where it's a gray line. But then you apply that to cosplay community and you take photos of a person. And so if you take photos of a person and it's just purely from an editorial standpoint for editorial content, let's say, for instance, you're covering the cosplayers that were in attendance that day. It's part of your package to cover a compilation of what was worn that day. Then that's fine. That's on the side of the photographer, the videographer, or whatnot. If you start to cross over, and let's say, for instance, you take a photo of a cosplayer, and you've set up this entire photo shoot with them, and it's an elaborate photo shoot. They may have paid you money for it as well. So there's also a question of rights from that standpoint, what was in the contract. And then all of a sudden, this elaborate photo shoot shows up on the cover of a magazine, like the front cover of a magazine, and it implies that this person's endorsing this product. They perhaps are in print, and they're showing them next to some new website or new cosplay product or app, basically. Or let's say, for instance, you show up, you put their photo, and it's an advertisement for Warbler, basically. And so that's implying that, let's say for instance, let's say for instance you did a photo shoot with Yaya Han, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what she who does she work with right now? The Cosplay Fabrics, McCall's. Is that was McCall's?
Yes, McCall
Yeah.
or McCall, but yeah.
McCall's, yeah. So let's say for instance, so you took a photo of her, you did a photo shoot with her, but then you sold those photos to whoever McCall's competitor is nowadays.
Okay.
It used to be Simplicity, but I think they got bought by McCall's. But either way, so you sell it to their competitor, and the competitor puts it next to their product, whether it be Warbler or whatnot. And so then in that case, then Yaya would have action against perhaps the person,
Image right?
the image rights, basically.
Like
yeah.
the person
So
brand, yeah.
yeah, because their brand, their image has become not just editorial anymore, but it's become almost like an endorsement. It has
Does it get
become an
murky
endorsement.
though? Because like sometimes you can't tell it's like about
Yeah, so
the product.
the law isn't black and white. And so there is, for every lawsuit that comes forward, there's always a defense, right? And so it's not clear cut in terms, it's very case dependent. So let's say for instance, in the past I've covered, for instance, I've done photos for magazines, and I've done them in a capacity for convention coverage. So when they publish my photos, it's like Dragon Con 2018 or 2017 cosplay culture, and they'll put a photo spread of all the cosplayers that were at that convention, basically, that I included in my photo album. So it's presented in an editorial format. Like for instance, if you saw like People magazine or something like that, where they would show a bunch of people at a party, just happen to be taking photos of that night. It's different from, let's say for instance, you open up a magazine and there's a photo spread featuring that cosplayer, and a whole interview thing like that. And so it becomes, you start to cross the gray area from an editorial standpoint to more of a feature slash feature article, I guess, that, or almost like a, it becomes more commercialized, I guess, so to speak. And so the more commercialized it becomes and less editorial is when you cross that legal divide, and it becomes more of an action for the cosplayer or model or celebrity as opposed to the photographer slash news outlet. And so it is a gray area. There's been a lot of case law going back and forth on this. And so definitely, for instance, I'll give you a personal example. For me, when I did coverage of a convention, there was a magazine that I did, and so if you look at magazines a lot, you'll usually have like a feature cover or a model or something like that. There's a lot of text, and maybe in the corner there'll be like a little preview of what's inside. And so the magazine that I work with put a picture of a cosplayer in the corner just from the coverage, basically, to say, hey, and I think it was like, look inside for coverage of convention so and so. And so I try my best to alert I don't know who's going to be put into the feature. When I submit photos for convention coverage,
the editor going to decide to.
Yeah, the editor decides, and so they'll look at my photo album that I submit. They'll select a select handful for the photo spread for that convention, and so they just happen to put this one person on the cover. I try to give them a heads up when they give me a preview copy in advance. I'll usually try to give them a heads up that they're in this magazine, so they're not taken off guard or surprised. Yeah, but it just so happened that this one particular time I didn't get the preview article in advance. It came out, and the cosplayer actually told me that they were included before I even knew. And so they were upset that it was a person I didn't really know very well. It just so happened to be a person that I shot at the convention. And they were upset that their face was on that corner as a preview image, basically. And so
what was the reason for their upsetting? Are they like, do not want to be associated?
Yeah, they just, I think they felt like they felt like it was an endorsement, like a commercialization of their image, basically. And so now I think part of it is that a lot of cosplayers, it's a little bit confusing that sometimes they'll want to get their pictures taken, but then once you take their picture or they see it published somewhere, they don't want it published, basically, anymore. And sometimes you'll see that online as well.
Yes.
And we have friends like that too.
I talk about this all the time too. like it's such a weird thing because like if it's in the modeling world or in the news world, it's kind of like you take the photos, it's yours, then you kind of handle it, then it's whatever,
Yeah.
you can do whatever you want. But and even if they're not happy, then it's like, well, sue me then, because what you gonna do about it is I'm not gonna take it down, whatever, because freedom of speech. But you can't really do that when it comes to cosplayer or the influencer world, because
Yeah.
yes, you can hold your ground and not take that specific action to take it down or remove it.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have lots of people not happy with you, and you're never gonna work
Yeah.
with them again.
So I mean, and like I said, there's a difference between what's legal and what's generally accepted in common courtesy. And so
Mhm.
it's common courtesy for me to try to let people know that if they're published in any sort of article or any sort of magazine or things like that. And nowadays, it's mainly just Kotaku in my videos. And even then, a lot of people have issues with Kotaku for a number of reasons, not related to cosplay, but in general. And so, and Kotaku has changed a lot. And they've definitely, I think one of the biggest complaints about Kotaku in the past was that they didn't make enough of an effort to credit the cosplayers
Mhm.
in their articles. And
But
sometimes, and
technically, they don't have to though. Technically,
they don't have to. They don't have to.
technically,
And that's the
yeah.
thing is that a lot of cosplayers, especially cosplayers that aren't used to being covered, suddenly freak out when they're like, "Hey, um, my image is in this article. This could have been my big moment, my big break." And everyone's like, "Oh my god, like, calm down." Like, this isn't that big of an article. Like, not many people really honestly are going to see it. And if they want to find out, they'll find out. But
They'll find out, yeah. And even if they see
yeah,
it, doesn't mean they're gonna care for it.
yeah. So I mean, it's not to discredit or discount people's work. I try to make sure that, and that's what I've done since I've joined with Kotaku, is that, and especially in the last 2 or 3 years, is that I've tried to make, and I think this is one of the biggest differences in my coverage and videos, especially in the last year or two. If you watch my videos compared to other channels, is that I've made a very concerted effort to credit
Oh yes.
everyone in everything I do. And so, if you look at any of my photos, in any of my videos now, I try to put their Instagram or whatever information that they have, in addition to even details like what character they are and what
From which
series they're
series?
from. And so,
Mhm.
so at this point, it's become a very proactive effort now on my part to prevent any sort of hurt feelings, whether or not it's legal or not. It's
Mhm.
more to protect myself and to Kotaku to say, hey, you know, we have your information. We are telling you that this is going to be in our video. You're going to be tagged when this gets published. We're giving you every opportunity to know it, this will be here basically. And
Mhm.
so you won't be taken by surprise, a month from now, 2 months from now, or even 3 years from now, that your image was here, because we made every effort to make sure
To
that
let you
you're
know.
credited. And
Mhm.
even more so, I'll post it on Instagram and tag them on that post basically. So that way they'll know
That's a lot of
when you
tagging.
post it. So it's a lot of tagging. Like, on average, I've got easily 200 to 300 people per video.
Jesus
Um,
Christ.
and Instagram allows you to only post 1 minute at a time. So I've got maybe 15 trailers
And
on
then we figure
Instagram.
out which person is in which, and it's just, oh man.
Yeah, so I have spreadsheets now when I'm shooting at a
I know,
convention.
I've seen you done it before. Like it's
Yeah,
just
so I'll actually, yeah, so I have to, it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of work up front, so that way it doesn't have to be done later on. And
Mhm.
so, and I know that this has been an issue. Um, it still becomes an issue nowadays because we've had friends that have done, they've done compilations of cosplayers recently. I think, for instance, April Fools was whenever we did that.
BradCon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that was another thing. When we posted that article, I think we made the mistake of not crediting everyone on the photos.
That's so hard
Uh,
to credit everybody. There's so many of
well,
people, and
especially since I'm not the one that took the photos, so like it was all
yeah.
user submitted, right? And I don't know
Mhm.
everyone in the group, and so basically it was just a mass
And then they have their
submission.
real name, their cosplay name, their Facebook name,
Yeah,
so then
so
you
it
don't
was a
sometimes,
mass
yeah.
submission. It
Mhm.
was all given to Kotaku as one giant folder, and Kotaku basically just posted everything all in one huge post, right?
Mhm.
And to their credit, when people started freaking out and realizing that they were on Kotaku, and they're like, I didn't give them my permission to be on Kotaku. They're not even crediting us. This could have been our big break. They Kotaku, to their credit, reached out to the cosplayers and actually said, hey, look, we will in good faith, try to credit everyone who is featured in this article. And if you tell us, we'll put your name on there. And they did. And so it was a lot of work after the fact, but they eventually got it done. And people calmed down generally. I think there was still a lot of bitter feelings from some people that were like, we didn't give you permission to put our photos in here. But we were like, this is charity, and we were going to give this, put this up somewhere.
But it's a weird thing, right? Because like on one hand, they're kind of like mad that they're using their photo, but then they also like, but I want credits. Like, is this a good thing or a bad thing? Like, I'm trying to figure out like, how are you seeing this? Is it a good thing? Then anything that helping is a good thing. If it's a bad thing, then you don't want it at all. Why would you want your name to associate with it?
Yeah. So I mean, that's such a challenge that you face when you're shooting, especially people you don't know, and that maybe your one interaction with them for the entire year, or maybe years, right? That one time you met them at that one con. And so now it's become a huge priority for me to make sure that I credit them, because I don't want to be that guy that gets criticized because he didn't get this one person, and they're freaking out because they didn't give permission. And so, regardless of whether or not it's legal, from my standpoint,
freedom of speech, man.
It's just common courtesy. It's a little bit more work, but people do appreciate getting credit, for better or for worse.
Oh yeah, of course. Of course, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. I mean, people do appreciate the little extra effort to that you put their name down, that you recognize their work, and that's all they're asking. And I understand that, and that's what we try to do. And I think we've definitely changed the culture, not just. I think for the most part, I've seen other videographers do the same thing now. They're making more of an effort to credit the people, whether it be in the credits or even on the video itself, like I do. They're making more of an effort to make sure that when people see the content, whether it be photos or videos, that they understand who these people are and even what they're wearing, basically. So I think from a cosplay standpoint, I understand the frustration that people get when they see their content online and they don't have any sort of easy way that leads back to them, basically. And so, and that's something that I've tried to cause, help do a culture change, especially with the number of people I shoot at every con. It's definitely impacted me more than I think your usual photographer that doesn't shoot as much as I do.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about getting into videography, especially seeing your work. They're great, but of course, convention's not going on right now, so that idea has taken a break. I mean, I've tried other stuff too. Did you see my the tilt shift one that I was doing?
The what?
A tilt shift video where like people look like miniature figures, like a time lapse tilt shift. Yeah,
those are always cool.
I always want to do that, and this was the year where I was gonna do it for the full year, like at different convention. It was gonna be a secret project because like it's one of the shots that I have to do from very far to get the people walking around, so it's not really like one person focus. So I've been secretly doing it at like 3 or 4 different conventions already. But of course, COVID hit, and then we don't have con anymore, so I can't do that project, and it sucks.
COVID's definitely impacted everyone. I think this was supposed to be my biggest year ever, and
supposedly, yeah.
I was on pace for I think 33, 35 cons this year.
Oh my god.
It was literally, there's only 52 weeks in a year.
Yeah, like I did the math too. Like we are on average go to a con at least every other week on average.
Yeah.
And
I think
it's
every
intense.
weekend in April, I was scheduled to be out of town or out of the country every weekend in April, and
I actually put my suitcase away because I don't really need a suitcase now. It used to be never put away.
I'm in the process of Marie Kondoing my entire condo, and so I'm like looking at my stuff.
Marie Kondo your condo.
I have like 4 suitcases, and I could probably get rid of 1 or 2 of them. I might throw them on my Craigslist.
No, we'll need it back. But speaking of gray area that we were saying earlier, I think one thing I realized, which is actually very funny, is lewd cosplay, lewd or sexy cosplay, because like cosplay has always been such a gray area, right? Because it's copyright infringement. You're dressing up the character of an IP of some other characters from someone who designed it. And first of all, people selling prints was weird because they're selling prints of, you can't really do that. This is someone else's IP. Like you cannot cosplay Tracer from Overwatch and then sell a print saying this is Tracer from Overwatch, especially using the name. Definitely a no-no when it comes to rights. But it's really funny when it comes to sexy and lewd cosplay, because once it's super sexy, and if they use like a different name, then the right holder would be really weird to try to sue you for it, which is weird. The more sexy and lewd it is, the less likely they can sue you, because they become more of a you can either A, parody, or B, it's such a differentiation from the original work.
Yeah.
Like sexy Mickey Mouse.
That's the question of like, fair use, right?
Mm-hmm.
And parody, right? So I think one of the biggest litigators has been Disney, because they're fiercely protective of their image.
Oh yeah, one is Disney, the other is WB, Warner Brothers.
Yeah. So when you're looking at cosplays like that, I think that's one of the things where, yeah, Disney will litigate and they will take down cosplay prints and things like print shops if you're basically construing yourself as the actual character or being endorsed by Disney or officially licensed by Disney. So their lawyers are pretty notorious for pursuing anything that can be remotely confused for actual Disney content. And so and I think that's why you don't see as much
but when it comes to sexy works.
Yeah, so for sexy works,
ironically, that is okay because it's not.
So is it okay because it's okay, or is it okay because
they don't want to associate with it,
or Disney just hasn't found it yet?
How could they not found? There's gotta be like some. I mean, a number amounts of like sexy Avengers.
Like, there's one lawyer whose job is to hunt down sexy content.
I wonder how does that describe his job.
So to give you a little bit of background, when I first came out of law school, I worked for an anime company. Oh. And I was actually the lawyer for the anime company that would send takedown notices to YouTube, to websites like Crunchyroll, back when Crunchyroll was not legit. So we would send letters like on legal letterhead, and I would be the person sending those letters. And every time we sent them, for the most part, websites would take down the content. Like YouTube was really good about it. Like I remember when I first started out, there were entire seasons of like Evangelion and Air Gear, and
oh my god.
So, being kind of a new fresh weeb, I'm like, okay, what is this anime that they're pirating? So I check it out.
It became the one thing that you destroy.
so I check it out, I'm like checking it out, and then after I'm like, okay, I've had enough of this. Then I send them the letter, and then they take it down. There reminds me of this one case where there's one website that had all their anime stored on an FTP server. And so you had to pay like I think $5 or $10 to become a member, and so it was all hidden behind like their paywall.
It was back in the days, so FTP style.
Yeah, so back in the day, that was the thing, right? Is if you couldn't watch it on, and this was back when anime companies were still making money off of DVDs too. So
yeah, VHS and stuff.
Streaming was still kind of an early thing. It wasn't like a huge thing yet. I think the anime companies were still trying to push for like satellite channels and things like that. So this one particular website had an FTP server, and I actually got the company to pay for my membership access to the FTP server. So I got in as and posed as like an actual random fan, and oh my god, they had so much anime.
Everything.
Had everything. And then basically I hunted them. I like took screenshots. I downloaded tons of anime for personal research reasons, and then I hunted down the web host server and everything, and basically we shut that website down.
See, I'm glad this is like an anime situation, but like if this is like a movie situation, you'd be like one of the guy who take out a gun out of nowhere behind someone and say, "Sorry, John, this is nothing personal. It's just good business."
So yeah, and that's the thing is that with like, for instance, with Crunchyroll, Crunchyroll at the time was just some random website that was posting anime content that wasn't officially licensed. So every time we posted it, they were very nice about it. They were very apologetic. They were like, "Yeah, we'll take it down immediately." But I think that was definitely the beginning of Crunchyroll's transition towards what it is.
Because they feel like
today.
this is not doable, but then they have enough user, then they realize like,
Yeah.
we should definitely try a way to profit from it, and then they did, and it works.
Yeah, they did, and they adapted. So they changed with the times, and got the licenses, and was able to become the forefront of online streaming and change the industry forever. Because nowadays, who buys DVDs anymore, right?
Yeah. So they jump
the
on it
business
fast.
model-
Yeah.
Yeah, they jumped on it and they capitalized. They saw the writing on the wall that this was the wave of the future. So props to them for adapting and changing the model. So now anime on streaming services is normal now. Like,
Yeah.
you can't imagine not watching anime on Netflix or Hulu or Crunchyroll for that matter.
Imagine still
these
buying
days.
DVD and getting VHS. That would take forever.
Dude, like buying Naruto episodes, 3 episodes at a time per DVD.
Yeah, you get one disc, and then you get like the
painful.
little synopsis in the background, synopsis in the background, in the back of the package or in the DVD.
It
And
was,
like,
it was literally only 3 episodes or 3 or 4 episodes per
each.
disc, and it was like $30, and you're like, what? And then you go to like the bootleg Chinatown stores that had like
in the
the
plastic
entire
bag,
series on like inkjet printed like labels. And stuff.
Yeah, very bad. They still have like Chinese on it, and it's like, all right, I think that's the right one.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see how much the industry has changed, but I think it's changed for the better because now that it's become more accessible, the fandom has exploded, and
I think
that's translated
Apple-
to cosplay. I think
Apple has made such a good job making this culture happen with the whole iPod then to iTunes, where because like the longest time people pirate music with like LimeWire or like BitTorrents for music is because it's so hard to buy songs unless you go to a CD store, go to Target to buy a full CD, then rip the CD, then put it on your iPod or whatever. And it's a whole thing, like you cannot just get a song. You have to go through it takes a whole day just to put a song on your iPod. But then they're like, F that. How about we just make it super easy for people just buy song directly on our platform and then for cheap price and just go directly to your iPod. No need to go through all that stuff. So
don't even have to worry about storage anymore.
Yeah.
I remember when people would try to squeeze anime video files on their iPods.
Yes. And that's the thing. Yeah. Piracy is such a big thing. It's because it's harder to get it through the legal method, But I think with like every channel doing that now, it's gonna go back to that, right?
The industry has adapted so well nowadays that it's not a priority for them as much as it used to be to pursue pirates, because people can stream it so much easier now. Like
distribution is so much easier. But what about with like Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon, like all this stuff on different platforms? It's kind of like cable again. Do you think piracy gonna come back?
No, because I think there's still it's still a lot of work, but I think there's still enough of a concentration of content on specific platforms. So like, if you want Marvel and Disney, you're gonna get Disney Plus, right? If you want to see most of your general content, you're probably gonna get Netflix. And if you really want that stuff, then you'll probably reach out for a lot of people already have Amazon.
And they can actually buy it technically on iTunes or whatever.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that leads us to the next issue, which is probably like the whole Mulan thing.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Because of COVID, right? COVID's affected the whole theater industry. So, if you guys don't know, Disney Plus is charging $30 for people to watch Mulan premiering on Disney Plus. Instead of going to the theater. And so, obviously a lot of people are saying that, oh my God, $30 for something that I'm already paying for, $30 on top of something I'm already paying for. No, thank you. And that's perfectly fine if that's not something in your budget. But the way I see it is that you're paying $30 for basically the right to watch it when it comes out. I'm already going to pay $20 or more than $20. And maybe $30 when I go to a movie theater.
Theater is expensive these days.
To watch it on an IMAX or whatever format it's on. get a bag of popcorn, and yeah, it's going to cost me $20-$30. And some people will say, well, that's the cost that you're paying for the theater experience. And yes, I agree. Theater experience is great, but I think that there's something to be said, and also it's something to be said that it's not a one-time rental like you might have on Amazon Video or something like that. It's actually going to be part of your streaming service for forever, like, as long as you have the service.
Here's the thing: like, have they decided? I thought it was just a renting thing, but is it like a library thing?
It'll be part of your library. Right?
Oh, okay. Then that makes a huge difference. Then, yes.
Yeah, a lot of people are freaking out because they don't even know that, right? And if you look hard,
it's a rent thing, a one-time thing. Then okay, that makes a huge difference. Yeah,
like, you're going to have it. So basically, you're paying $30 for the right to have it 3 months earlier than anyone else. Essentially,
and similar to buying a DVD, which would cost $20 anyway.
Yeah,
but you're gonna get full access.
I don't even know where my DVD player is right now. So
yeah, I don't have a DVD player anymore. If anything, I only have my computer.
Yeah, I mean, ownership is nice, but I personally think times are changing. It's a cost of doing business. These are unusual times, and I think Disney is being, honestly, from my standpoint, and it's fine if you disagree with this, but I think Disney is being generous by letting us have Mulan instead of making us wait another year to see it in theaters like some movies. So,
I feel like you sound like one of those like a movie villains, like, I am a generous and a wise king. Bow before me before
Fire Nation
to take your life.
I think it's a privilege of watching Mulan. No. And that's fine. If you don't want to pay $30, you're perfectly entitled to not pay for $30. You can wait until it comes out on regular Disney Plus in 3 months, like it usually, like every other movie. But I think for a lot of people, especially its target audience of like kids, if you've got a family of like 4 or 5 at home and you want to be able to watch Mulan over and over again for the 3 months in quarantine, I think $30 is a very little price to pay.
That's like Frozen.
I think that's the reason why Trolls Worldwide has made like $300 million, is because parents everywhere are desperate for babysitting options.
Wait, the cartoon kids show?
The movie. They released Trolls Worldwide. They made a movie and they released. No, it's a sequel actually. It's a cinematic sequel. They released it to video on demand back in like April, and movie theaters were freaking out at the time because they were like, "How dare you release it to video on demand instead of to theaters first?" And Universal was like, "F y'all, we're gonna release it and make our money," and they made so much money. And so it's like everyone, and then so that's the criticism of like Mulan is like, they're like, people that don't want to pay $30 are like, y'all, everyone who paid for Trolls, you're all to blame because now movie studios think this is worth it. And so,
it is though.
But it is, because they don't have to pay the movie theaters for these things either. So they're saving a bunch of money on a lot of infrastructure costs, I think.
Because usually when a movie go to theater, they kind of split half from, like, let's say a ticket is $20, the studio make 10, and then the theater itself make 10. So it's a huge cut. Yeah. Like with COVID, do you think like theater's gonna be they're not gonna be gone forever, but do you think it's gonna change the culture where people don't go to theater as much as they would even after COVID?
Well, ironically, before COVID, I was going to the theater because I had one of those like
movie passes.
Yeah. So I was going. The last movie I saw was on March 15th. So, I think I was trying to watch as many movies as I could before everyone locked down. But I think there's something to be said about the movie theater experience. It is nice to, and I think that's the reason why I got such a big TV is because I kind of miss it.
Do you have speakers yet?
I have a sound bar. It's actually still on this TV.
You need a surround sound system. Get a Bose one. They're wireless too, I think.
Nah, that's just clutter. I'm trying to Marie Kondo my life. I'm simplifying my life.
That's why you buy expensive stuff so you can hide them easier.
Nah, it's okay. I'm not that huge of an audiophile, and so I was actually happy with this TV until like some of my friends came over and they were like Diana, she's like, your TV's too small. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's pretty big.
55.
She's like, trust me, once you go bigger, you'll never go back, and it's kind of true. Now that I got this new TV, I'm looking back here and I'm like, this is like tiny.
Tiny.
It makes my regular monitors look like smartphones.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I'm using like the reason why my TV is not bigger on my desk because my desk won't able to fit. But I'm using like a 32 and a 38, I think 36 something on my computer desk. I was gonna use two big TV screen, but the thing is that they don't make them that big for a monitor, or also my desk won't fit it. That one behind me, I think it's only 40.
That's when you actually use actual TVs as your monitor.
Yeah. Well, because I don't play that much games, so I don't really need like that quick refresh rates or whatever. It's
so that's why you just get yourself like a cheapo like 32-inch flat screen HD TV.
TVs are so cheap nowadays. Getting a TV is like what? Every day on Slick Deal, there's something to say. Like,
you could get a base model LG 75-inch TV for $700.
That back in the days, I must say back in the days, only like what 3 years would cost $2,000 easy.
Dude, this Maybe TV more. Right here is 10 years old. It has 3D technology when 3D was a thing.
So that was expensive.
So it was big back then.
Oh yeah, definitely. But now it's like, oh, cool, nice monitor.
Yeah, I think I threw away the goggles like years ago.
Yeah, 3D still. Have you thought about doing 3D cosplay video?
No,
I think that would be. The problem is that people cannot watch it yet. What about VR?
I think VR is still a niche thing. Honestly.
Is it because adoption rate
hardware.
is? Yeah.
You need the hardware. I mean, people that have it love it. Like I know, but you have to have it. That's the thing.
Like that was one of my projects too, because I was running around with the 360 camera. Like I wanted to like capture different convention experience, and you can watch in VR.
Well, I think the reason why your 360 camera works really well is because it's accessible on social media platforms like Facebook. You can use a little mouse thing to spin it around and things. So it's still I think your camera was actually a viable option for interactivity with the audience.
But it's still hard to. We haven't mastered the way to capture content that will be very fully enjoyable, and it's also consumption wise, it's not that easy to make. Because like traditionally, when we're doing video photos, we're telling a story. Usually, we have a subject. We want people to focus on certain thing. That's why we record it. But when it comes to interactive, it's the user who decide what they want to look at. So meaning you either have to record it very passively, or you will have to find a way that is giving the audience this freedom as well as you having the creative choice of what story you want to tell. So it's a weird balance.
Yeah, I think it's a tool like any other camera. The thing that attracted to me as a filmmaker was the 360 camera allows you vantage points similar to almost like a drone in areas that drones can't fly. So like when you were on I think you were on a boat in one of your videos. Was it a boat or something? And you had it like fly out. I don't know. I think it was either your video or somebody's video. They were on the end of a boat basically, and they had it on their stick. And they walked out from the back of the boat.
Yeah, that was the one that they were doing in Hong Kong. Yeah.
Yeah, and they walked off, and you had the camera coming off the edge of the boat basically. So it looked like you had a drone coming
flying
into
through
the boat,
the thing.
Basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looked really cool. So I think even if you're not really using it for the 3D purpose, I think because the technology has allowed you to get the particular angle and vantage point is an amazing thing.
The thing is that when I was using it, the first few weeks I was still trying to using an old mindset, like try to see how I'm shooting it. But later I realized one thing is very different when using a 360 camera is that you shoot first, then you aim after. Meaning it's the editing process where you decide where to look at, not while you're shooting. So it's just like, fuck it, just forward.
I think that's the beauty of that camera is that you're able to get so many angles in one shot. Basically.
Yeah.
And I think that's what has enabled it to be, has changed the game in terms of because 360 cameras have been around for 3-4 years at least.
But it's not.
I think
form factors.
I don't think the form factor and the editability of the footage wasn't user friendly until this came along.
It's still so much work though. It's still so much work editing it.
But I think it's more accessible now than ever.
Definitely. Yeah.
I think that as obviously COVID's kind of put a dent in in everyone's experiences. But I think given more time, I think the technology has already. I mean, it's already improved so much. But I think given more time, it'll be like an amazing tool to use in videography. I think. And so,
Give me some
yeah,
idea. I'll see what I can do with it too. Because I wanna. That's the one thing I wanna explore because it hasn't been explored at least in the cosplay scene yet. Well, again, I'm not even sure there's gonna be a cosplay scene after all this is over. So, yeah, we'll see. Do you think so? This is one thing I want to talk to you about too, because you've been in this industry as long as I have. What do you think about the whole sexy cosplay versus the non-sexy, the one that more focuses on craftsmanship? Here's what I'm saying. I'm hoping sexy cosplays get big, so big that it can has its own category. Then it kind of separate between craftsmanship cosplay and sexy cosplay. They both can coexist. But right now, I feel like because it's still one category, and if your first initial impressions or introduction to cosplay is one or the other, you're gonna think cosplay has to be that. The other one doesn't really count.
I think that's definitely been something that I've faced, especially with my videos. If you look at any of my channel videos, it's the sexy cosplay that draws in probably 80% of my audience. Just look behind me right now.
Yeah, watching right now.
And if you look at my channel page, like all of my thumbnails are clickbait, honestly, right? And so it's designed to draw the viewers in, and so you're already gonna get the craftsmanship crowd interested because they know you have the content, they're gonna seek you out. It's the general public that's not accustomed to cosplay that the sexy cosplays usually draws. And I think combined together, they form content that not only appeals to cosplay fans of craftsmanship, but then introduces cosplay to new audiences, which is what the aim of my videos has been, I think, with regards to coverage. And if you watch the videos from start to finish, it's not just the sexy cosplays that's featured in the thumbnail image. Yes, it'll open with probably a sexy cosplay, but if you watch the cosplay, it's an appreciation of cosplay in general. And so you'll have craftsmanship. Like, for instance, you watch my Chicago video this year from C2E2. C2E2 was the site of the Crown Championships of Cosplay, which had championship cosplays from, I think, at least 10 different regions around the world.
And the one that won this year is the one with the ball thing, the giant dress one, right? That was amazing. Yeah.
She was from South Africa. And so that's the thing, is that you bring the viewers in, whether it's through the content or whatever it may be, sexy cosplay, but they stay for the content, that's amazing. Like, people watch that Chicago video and they're like, I was attracted because, man, that girl in the thumbnail was amazing. But then I watched the video and you open with like the world champion of cosplay, and she just blew my mind. And so they stuck around and they subscribed, and a lot of those guys or girls stick around and they continue watching. And so, yeah, the sexy cosplays are often a gateway cosplay for the general public. And I think this is something that's true for everyone, for a lot of people, whether or not they realize it. Like, a lot of people, like a lot of our friends, like Jessica, a lot of people were introduced to her, from her initial,
Pikachu first.
Yeah,
the sexy ones.
So a lot of people are like, hey, what is this? People are dressing up. It's not just nerds. It's not, they're breaking the stereotype. It's something for everyone. It's not just the nerd showing up with, that may smell bad, or some things that are stereotypical images of, anime cons or comic cons. And so, they start to watch this and they're like, hey, actually cool people are actually showing up these. Not to say that nerds aren't cool, but just saying, like,
to that their concept of what cool is, is a certain type of
it's not their stereotypical image of a Comic-Con person. It's basically everyone that's a fan. it could be a beautiful person, it could be a nerdy person, it could be a person that's just showing up off the street in a cardboard box, it could be a person that spent thousands of hours on their cosplay. The fact is that my videos, I hope, introduce people to this type of environment, that is a whole new world for people to say, hey, this is a safe space for a lot of people to show up and dress in whatever character they want to be, for whether it be their favorite video game or their favorite anime or their favorite movie. It's an experience that they want to be a part of, and I think that that's shown through the comment section in a lot of my videos. That a lot of people say, hey, I got into cosplay and I got into conventions because I started watching your videos and I wanted to be a part of that. And that's the thing. And the fact that your video told me that there was a convention in my state that I could go to, I didn't realize that. I didn't even know there was a convention in my city until I saw your video. I used to think that was only like in the big cities, but oh my God, there's a convention like 90 miles away from me that I'll have to check it out. So that's the beauty of what we do.
That's very inspiring.
Yeah, that's the beauty of that. What we do is that you're not only bringing attention to the cosplayers, but you're inspiring a whole new generation or a whole new subsector of people that wouldn't have thought about this and became fans as a result of it. And so, and I think that's partly my inspiration for getting into it, is that when I first started out, I didn't know. I mean, I was pretty much a very casual fan of video games and some anime.
You were the guys also to destroy things too.
So it's like, the more I've gotten into cosplay, the more I've, I'd say 90% of the things that I know about nerd culture, anime culture, video games has been through initial exposure through cosplay. And so it was because of cosplay that I got to become interested in certain anime like ReZero or Attack on Titan and things like that, or even Demon Slayer, right? So it's like, in some ways it becomes, it's a circular motion, in that a lot of these cosplays started off as fandom, but they became marketing for the original source. So we go to conventions and we see, hey, what is this League of Legends thing that people are dressing up as? And they check it out and they're like, okay, I guess I'll keep playing it. And then League of Legends recognizes it and they start to sanction official cosplays, and then it becomes a circular snowball effect. Same thing goes with Blizzard, right? Blizzard, video game company, they show up every year at BlizzCon. People from around the world show up. Cosplays.
Cosplay at BlizzCon is one of the top.
And then people see the coverage from the content from BlizzCon, and they're like, "Oh my God, what is this game that people are cosplaying from that they spend thousands of dollars and hours on?" And they're like, "What is this Diablo? What is Warcraft? What is Overwatch?" And then they start to check it out, and then they play it. And so a lot of these companies are realizing that this is becoming a new form of viral organic marketing for them. In that, and a lot of our friends have gotten gigs through this sort of. Because they've got the exposure, they've gotten the opportunities to become cosplay fabricators, basically prop makers and cosplay models for these companies when they want to promote their products. There's games out there that I would never heard of, like.
Yeah, I mean, it allows me. I have a company myself where I hire influencer, content creator, and cosplayer, especially cosplayer. It allows me to hire a lot of cosplayer throughout the years because I'm able to say I trust what the cosplayer can do and what kind of. It's so much different than traditional marketing, than like a billboard. It's more something for engaging.
About Fate if it wasn't for cosplay.
And then you see it everywhere.
And I still don't know much about it, but I still see it everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah, that's the thing. Fate, whatever. Then some history lesson as well. That's how.
Any of my Anime Expo videos, I'd say 50% of the cosplays are Fate Grand Order.
I like how every year there's always like one series that's really popular. Like when Attack on Titan was really popular. There was a lot of Attack on Titan.
Last year was Demon Slayer, I'd say. Fate. Still.
Is there one gonna be like the rest of this year? Because there's no con. Here's the thing though. This is what annoys me. Cosplayer are always like, "Oh, I don't have enough time." They complain how little time they have when it comes to building cosplay because a con is coming up. But now there's no convention. They have all the time in the world. They don't make cosplay.
it's a mental state, right? I think people thrive on deadlines.
Pressure. Yeah.
Thrive on pressure. So you have a convention coming up, you have a set deadline to complete a project. Like it's for me, for instance, right? I released my first video. It was a compilation of previous San Diego Comic Cons. I told myself I was going to do a video, similar video throughout quarantine. And it took me, we're in August now. It took me probably 4 or 5 months to get around to making such a video. I wanted more, but it's like, right. So it's like you're in quarantine, real life gets in the way, real life gets in the way for everybody. You have other things you'd rather be doing. You don't have a hard deadline set.
Because before, if you don't do it, there's a next con coming up, and you have to get it done, or it's gonna pile up. So, but now you don't have that.
And the other thing is that so I used to crank out videos within like a week or two's time because you needed to get the content fresh out to the public from the zeitgeist and stuff. But nowadays, people are in quarantine. Like days become weeks, weeks become months. Like,
yep, it's been like 6 months, 5 months already.
Yeah, like it's already August, and I'm like, where did the time go? When I used to be like freaking out over each day of the week. Now it's
like if we're in old days time, like it's been what, 5 months? How many videos would we have completed by now? Since
easily, if we had been doing conventions, actually I have the spreadsheet. Let's see here.
I've seen your spreadsheet before. It's pretty intense.
Yeah, if we're in August.
Yeah, so it started from mid-March.
How many cons would I have had? So before COVID hit, I actually have original convention coverage. I had 5 cons on my channel for 2020. If we had been, I would have had a convention this weekend in Boston. I've missed 30 conventions. Wait, no, take that back. 15 conventions.
Jesus.
All right.
Would that equivalent to 15 videos, at least?
That would have been 15 videos.
Jeez.
That would have been 15 videos. April alone was 3 cons. May would have had 5 cons. And I would have published a video probably every week.
That's pretty intense. But
so
now there's no con, yeah.
I mean, it sucks. COVID's horrible, yes. But part of me has somewhat welcomed this opportunity to stay in quarantine and reset my life. I think our good friend Diana said it best. She said that I think the reason why you're going to so many conventions is that you're escaping yourself.
It's kind of true, yeah.
And so basically, being at home for 5 months has forced me to self-reflect and basically re-examine my life at home, basically. And so that's the reason why, like we were talking about Marie Kondoing earlier, like I've been spending the good portion of the last 2 months, I'd say, just kind of throwing out stuff that's been in my place for years and just kind of clearing my head of things that I don't know why I kept on. Like literally today, I posted on eBay a toy set that I bought at Comic-Con 2014, and I still had it in its box that it was shipped in. I didn't even open that box. I opened it up. It was like a glow of light came from the box. I was like, wow, this is like crisp and brand new, like the day I bought it. Because literally, it was the day I bought it was the last time I saw it. So I posted it on eBay today because I was like, there's no reason for me to keep this. It was just crammed in the corner of my place.
Is it worth more now than it was before then?
Maybe a little bit, but it was, I think I bought it then not for the value, but just for the sentimental value.
Yeah, I mean, of course, that's why you keep it. But that's the thing about like figure collection. Like, I don't think I can ever get into it because then I know I will want more, and I don't want that.
Like, I have a lot of stuff that I need to get. Like, I have a bunch of like Transformers and Funkos that really I don't need, and so I'm at a stage in my life right now where I'm just like minimalizing as much as I can, trying to clear my thoughts so that way once we do get back to normal life, my regular living space is no longer a small tumor or burden in the back of my mind. It's
Mm-hmm.
like something that I can relax now. It used to be that, yeah, I agree. I used to leave home as much as I could because I couldn't stand being at home because it felt so stressful. Like I was
Feel
just
trapped.
cluttered. Yeah, it was just
Mm-hmm.
cluttered, and it was a place for me to sleep. Like even when I was at home, the reason why I could publish these videos out so much was because it stressed me out so much to do work at home that I would just, as soon as I got off my day job, I would go to like a tea house or a coffee house, and I just
Mm.
camp there for the next 4 or 5 hours and crank out these videos because
Avoiding going
that's the
back
only
home.
way. Yeah, that's the way I could get anything done was I had to sit down in a public area with that I couldn't get sidetracked by watching TV or surfing the internet or playing video games. Sit down, plug in
Mm.
my laptop, just focus hardcore for like 4 or 5 hours, and that's how I got things done at the time. And so, uh, being at home now, it's forced me to reevaluate my living space, my workspace, so that way I can get stuff done at home. And I think it's good mentally for me
Mm.
and physically. Just trying to focus in on just because we have nothing better to do. Yeah, being in quarantine, that your priority should be yourself first and foremost, mentally and physically. And so
Mm-hmm.
I've I think in the last month I've lost like 15 pounds actually.
Dude, you look
So
fit, man. Dude, it took a month. No, I saw your progress too. You posted like 1 month to lose 10 to 15. That's a lot.
yeah,
That's good stuff.
I've been working out. I've been eating well. It's amazing what diet and exercise will do, right?
Supposed to. So I'm glad like your results is coming back. But when COVID's
Yeah. So
over,
yeah,
do you think you're gonna get back into you're still gonna be shooting cosplay, right?
yeah. But I think I won't be as hungry to travel as much.
Mm.
Um, like for instance, I know for a fact I turned down friends trips this year. Like in April, I think people were planning on going to Korea to
Mm.
visit, and I know that I turned them down because I was so committed to going to conventions those weekends. And so
Mm.
now looking back, I'm like, you know what?
Not
Spending
worth
time
it.
with your friends is more important than
Uh-huh.
just going to another convention that I've never even been. Yeah, I mean, conventions are great, but making sure that you don't miss memories with your friends is what's going to actually last you a lifetime. And so, yeah, I'll still go to
Especially
conventions.
especially you already have documented so many conventions, you know. It's good to
Yeah,
experience other things as well.
yeah. I mean, there's yeah, it's going to be a balancing act, I think.
Mm.
But I think like all things in general are better in moderation. And so I don't think I'm going to be as ambitious in the future, spending more than 75% of my year on the road. Because yeah, it was a fantastic time, and I appreciate the opportunities, but mentally and physically, it was just draining. And so,
It's a good chapter. Like let's just say it was a good chapter in life. Something you said, oh, I
yeah,
have done that. Yeah.
I mean, there's some conventions that I think I will always want to attend, like San Diego
What's your
Comic
favorite?
Con. Like as a fan, San Diego is my favorite because
Mm.
I go there not just as a content creator. I go there as a fan. I genuinely enjoy walking the halls and seeing the panels and things like that, which
You
a
do.
lot of people don't. Which a lot of people don't do at like most conventions. And I understand from a cosplayer standpoint, Comic Con isn't the greatest convention to attend
Oh, it's
because
horrible for
it's so.
cosplay.
Yeah, for cosplayer, it's crowded. It's there's not a whole lot of cosplay actually. You actually have to hunt
It get
cosplays
less
down.
and less cosplay each year because people don't appreciate cosplay there, and professional cosplayers do not
It's very
need to go anymore.
commercialized.
Hmm.
I actually, as a content creator at Comic Con, I actually have to hunt cosplays down.
I remember,
Like
yeah.
it's actually surprisingly a difficult challenge to shoot Comic Con,
Hmm.
but it's still my favorite because there's so much stuff to do as a fan. Like there's these experiences and activations that they run. Like I still remember my favorite one probably was 2 years ago in San Diego. They were promoting Blade Runner 2049, I think, the new movie with
Hmm.
Ryan, what's his name, Gosling. Yeah, and so they
Hmm.
had this entire tent set up, and we went inside the tent. They recreated Neo Tokyo, or Hong Kong or whatever it
Is
was.
it the
And
one
so
where there's a rain kind of too, or like I don't know, like it was?
yeah, they had a rain. They had rain. They had a rain
Yeah,
machine inside.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
they
yeah.
actually had a whole slew of actors in cosplay, in character the entire time you were walking around, and they had
Mhm.
entire storylines playing out in front of you. Like you'd be walking through the crowd, and there's like this criminal running from the cops, and she's hiding. Like it's like being at Star Wars Land, but in a
It's a
convention.
full-on experience, and
And
you're like in, yeah.
yeah, you could walk up to a ramen shop, and the guy would serve you ramen and ask you how your day has been and things like that. And you go up to like this vending machine and you tap on it, like it would give you like the swag. And then there'd be a Johnny Walker booth that had like free shots like that. So um, that's the it's things like that that excite me when I go to Comic
Mhm,
Con.
mhm.
Convention wise, like cosplay wise, there's other conventions that just just astound me, like BlizzCon, obviously, obviously for various political reasons and
Mhm.
other reasons. BlizzCon's financial reasons too. BlizzCon has been a controversial convention as of late, but
But cosplay
traditionally,
wise, it's still.
cosplay wise, it's still the cream of the crop, I'd say.
Mm,
Um, Content, in terms of quantity, Anime Expo is up there in
of
terms of
course, the
just
sheer
sheer
amount of
number,
people.
right? It's
Yeah.
just madness.
So even
Uh,
50% of AX is bigger than most convention already
yeah,
when it comes
I
to
mean, it's
people
sheer
cosplayers.
content. Yeah, it's just amazing. Um, yeah, New York Comic Con, C2E2, these conventions, definitely are just astounding in the quality of content they bring every year. So,
Hmm.
um, and then
But
definitely there's a lot of conventions that just provide friend trips. Like YetiCon, I think has become a popular friend destination convention. Holiday Matsuri Orlando is a good convention that a lot of people have been flocking to in more and more every year because it's Florida in December, and
mhm.
you can go
I
to
still haven't been
Disney.
yet.
You can go to Disney and Universal. And so I know last year our friend Jenny went like the week before, and she was going like every day for a week to Disney. So uh,
Speaking of friends, we have a few friends actually in chat. Diana is here, Sneaky is here. But that remind me of another question too. Um, is it um is there a difference, do you think, because you travel as well too, the cosplay video concept or style when it comes to America and other places? Because like whenever I go to, when I look at photos online, I see Russian cosplayer or Western cosplay photos. Instantly, is that Russian? It's definitely Russian, and all the other ones as well too. And each region has a little bit different. I talk about that in my Discord as well
yeah,
too. Do you notice that in like
regions are very
cosplay videos?
regions are very different. And I think like for instance, conventions in general, like Russia doesn't have the same environment as we do.
Hmm.
I think a lot of the photos that you see are because people don't go to conventions as much, and they're able to spend a lot more time in Photoshop, things like that. That's why
Hmm.
you see such amazing edits that come out of Russia, is because they don't have a convention every other weekend like we do. So they're able to focus more on one really good photo shoot.
Hmm.
Um, I went to last year. I went to London, MCM Expo London.
Hmm.
I went to New Zealand last year. I went to Canada. Um, I think a lot of those areas. I know Sneaky has been pioneering cosplay videos for years. I definitely look up to them, and they've done amazing video content in Europe. And I know that other parts of the world, in Asia, for instance, like in Japan, Rescue the Princess does really great, amazing videos over there.
Hmm.
Um, but I think, like, especially like in, for instance, to Japan, and I think Matt will agree. Matt, who is Rescue the Princess, he'll agree with me that the cosplay environment over there is a little bit different. You can't just they're not just walking around like here
Yeah,
at
no,
conventions. Like you'll
it's really
see,
frowned upon.
especially yeah, and especially a lot of the top tier cosplayers, they'll have like a pre agreed upon stage area that they'll set up, and
Hmm.
then it'll be a horde crowd of
We've seen
photographers
photos and
that
video of it. So
surround.
it's, yeah.
Yeah, in a giant circle of people, and that's their opportunity to get it from them. And so uh, I think it's a different environment. Like for instance, in Asia, you don't see a whole lot of convention coverage because a lot of the photos that come out of there, cosplayers are very controlling in terms of how they look And so they
Mhm.
want to make sure that they look their best. So they'll often only do photos, private photo shoots, like in this photo studio or something like that. And
With friends that they
so,
trust.
yeah, like in Taiwan or Hong Kong or China or Japan, that's typically the only time you'll see those types of photos. And so, that's keep popping up. But yeah, so um, yeah, so that's a different environment. Europe is a little bit similar. I
Mhm.
think it was easier for me to shoot in London. I've seen videos from like Germany and Italy where the environment is a little bit more similar to it is in America, where you have more of a convention type of atmosphere that you can shoot cosplayers just randomly walking around. For me, when I shot London, it definitely did feel a lot like I was shooting at like New York or something like that. I think
Mhm.
not having a language barrier had definitely helped. And so I was able to just ask people, "Hey, you mind if I shoot? Can I get your Instagram information?" Which wouldn't be as easy if I was like to say shoot in Beijing or Tokyo or Seoul, basically. So, not
Yeah.
to say that I wouldn't welcome the opportunity to shoot over there. I've definitely given it some thought, but like even for instance, like the largest conventions in Tokyo, like Comiket, um, I've had friends tell me that it's difficult to shoot there. Like the cosplayers that you want to shoot are not going to be able to shoot with you because they're only selling their prints from their booths, which are in a
Mhm.
horribly lit area. So, and that's their goal is not to do photo shoots. Their goal there is to sell. So, and so yeah, so that's it's different. It's interesting to see different environments around the world in terms of how they treat conventions and cosplays. I actually have a lot of people on my channel watching from like Germany and Italy and even Russia. And they're like,
Mm.
"Yeah, we'd love to see you have come over here and shoot our content. We don't have anything like that over here." And we're like, "But you
'Cause you don't
actually
have anything
do.
like that.
You
Like
do
event
actually have
wise.
something like that, but we just don't see it because no one really covers it." Like,
Mhm.
I reached out this year to a friend of mine who I've known for years in Bangkok, and so I was actually able to just have his video featured on my channel for Japan Festa, which was it's actually not even a convention. It's more of a Japanese festival, and cosplayers just happen to show up on the
Kinda like
street.
a gathering kind of thing, huh?
Yeah, so, but it was really cool to see cosplayers on that side of the world. This year, I actually reached out, I think, to a filmmaker in Italy that we never really got to do anything, but I'd still like to hopefully do something in the future. But I think and some people have told me that Doremi or something like that. I forgot what it's called. Somewhere in Germany, it's a really amazing convention over there that is in the countryside that people gather to do photo shoots, and so it would be a good, great
I
opportunity to do
I
stuff
wish
over
we
there.
have the same version of that in Europe, which is the what is it called?
Photo fest or something like that.
Yeah, there's two of them.
Yeah, there's
There's
two of
two big one. I forgot what they're called. Freak, Mania
them. Yeah,
for yeah,
Pixel
Mania
Media.
is one of them, and there's another one too. But I feel like do you think those are doable in America? Because I feel like that is something that we. Here's the thing, because
I think.
going
I
event is
think.
so easy, they kind of don't think about that
Yeah.
options.
I think we have so much opportunity at conventions to shoot here that it's almost kind of an afterthought to set something like that up. I think that's the reason why conventions that are set in scenic areas are gaining traction, like YetiCon and Holmat and
Even Colossal Con,
where
in a way,
yeah,
is different.
ColossalCon, yeah. So they became not just a convention, but they became a destination convention in that people
Hmm.
are going there with a specific mindset that they want to get certain like Katsucon can be considered a destination convention because
True.
people see the photos and they're like, "Oh my god, I want to get photos in that gazebo
Giant
area. I
white
want to get
marble
photos."
wall and everything.
Yeah, I want to get. It looks just all the few photos there are just amazing, and so yeah, I think that's the goal of every convention is to become sort of a destination convention. But I think only a select number of conventions are fortunate to be located in a venue or have a surrounding area that has that type of amazing backdrop that allows it to become a destination, no matter what its reputation may be. I know that, for instance, ColossalCon has been somewhat controversial as of late with its administration, but I think
Mm.
whatever happens with them, uh, the fact that they are the swimsuit convention is something that they'll always have as their attraction. And so I think that's something that if you're a convention head, that's something to consider if you're looking to attract cosplayers. Um, that you want to make sure that you provide them with an atmosphere that you want to shoot in. Like I'd say 50% of the conventions that you see nowadays set in these drab, poorly lit convention centers
Ugly lights from top.
that are not ideal for shooting. Like I know here, I live actually down the street from a convention center that hosts a smaller convention here in Houston that they set up their booths in this really awful convention hall that for 90% of the year, conventions are fine because no one's taking photos in them. Like their biggest event is the rodeo. So that hall is actually used to hold like livestock and tractor farm, tractor gear and things like that. But when they held the convention there, it was like look up and the lighting was this weird alternating pattern of amber and blue lights. And it just made for the weirdest photos. It's like, but the thing is that if you go outside of the hall, the convention like alleyway, the walkway area is like entirely made of glass.
Glass is like
so
yep.
So if you look at photos, you never know that the convention was in a horribly lit area because the photos are actually taken in the most beautiful.
That's kind of like Comic-Con too. Like Comic-Con, the San Diego Comic-Con Convention Center is not pretty inside. It's really gray. The carpets are ugly.
But if you look at my videos carefully, mine almost 95% of my video at San Diego is shot in that hallway
between the con floor and the outside. Yeah,
it's like it's a glass atrium where there's this natural light bouncing around everywhere. And so I think that's and then the rest of the video is exterior shots, like in the golden hour basically. And so and I think that's part of shooting at conventions, and as well as I do that part of shooting conventions is yes, you've got to have a beautiful venue as much as possible or a beautiful environment, but B, you've got to know where these environments are when you shoot at a convention. So even at the worst possible venue, there's still bound to be a spot to shoot. Yeah,
I feel like when I first started discovering more conventions, it definitely was a fun challenge. Everyone want to discover different spots, and then because especially stuff don't come out on the internet until after the event's over, so you're gonna get all this amazing shot, video, or photos, and people's like, "Whoa, I went to the same event. How did you get that?
Where did you shoot this?"
Yeah, like even Anime Exposed back in the days.
I didn't see the spot.
Yeah, like Anime Exposed, there's so many spots that when it first got getting big, like I'm talking about like not getting big, but when I first kind of more involved was like 2008, around those time, 2008, 2009. And I was trying to discover so many spots that people couldn't find. It's like, wait, this is from that ugly convention center? It's like, yeah, we found it. Of course, now everyone shoots at the horseshoes area. But even just that was like kind of a tricky thing to figure out, but very, very fun. It's part of the excitement about discovering conventions.
Yeah. I mean, for me, shooting video, it's you have to take into account the background sometimes, but then you also have to take into account lighting, because with shooting video, you don't have the luxury of having optimal lighting sometimes. So you have to make sure you angle your subject in a way that it's flattering. The background is not as distracting, and the light is still flattering to them. And so you'll find that most of my videos, I don't shoot after dark because I don't have sufficient lighting to shoot them. Because I don't want to push the ISO, because ISO in videos is
ugly.
Yeah. So, so you'll find that most of my videos are shot during the daytime, and then rarely, occasionally, you'll see like a night shot because I have interesting lighting, basically. And so, but yeah, so that shooting videos, like being a photographer, you still have to take into consideration all these factors to make sure that. And I think that's one of the things when I shoot video is that I'm not just shooting video for the sake of shooting video. I'm still treating it like I'm doing a photo shoot. I'm still composing the shot. I'm still doing, specific things like looking for the rule of thirds, or making sure I have the subject prominently in the foreground, making sure the composition isn't as distracting, leading lines, things like that. So I think that's one of the things that if you do look at my videos, you start to look at the composition of the frames and things like that. I do make an effort to apply the principles of photography to videography as well.
Would you say America is still the most progressive when it comes to as a cosplay industry? To me, it is.
Uh,
Like, what is your view
yeah,
on that?
yeah, I would say so. I think if anything, it's because our industry is so much more developed because we have so many cons. I think it's a function of so many cons. We've got so much content being produced. We have so much demand for cosplayers to bring their talent to conventions that it's become such an industry here in the United States. Like, and if you go to Asia, the top cosplayers, technically, a lot of them aren't really the cosplayers that we know of as in the United States. A lot of them are more or less
Mm-hmm.
models.
Mm.
Like, for instance, Sparrow Cats, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
right? We have obviously they're fantastic girls. We have great respect for them. They have worn amazing cosplays, but a lot of the stuff that they do is promotional work for video game companies that give them the supplies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, they've done work for Blizzard, and they've worn Zach Fisher's designs, for
Mm-hmm.
work for Blizzard. So, um, it's different. It's a different environment over there.
What
I
is the
think
next
it's.
step for America then? Like, where do you see this going to progress?
I think we're still fighting for. I think cosplayers are still fighting for recognition and respect as creative content makers,
Mm.
because not just within the cosplay community, but within costuming community as well. I think a lot of professional costumers look down on cosplay as like an amateur
Mm-hmm.
obsession,
Mm-hmm. Same for
whereas
photography and videography.
yeah,
Yeah.
so we have a lot of top cosplayers that are starting to break into the professional industry of costuming. Like, we have friends like Ricky Riddle. She's working for Marvel, and
Mm-hmm.
we have
Yep.
other friends who are working in the movie industry, and they're actually successfully transitioning their talents to in a professional capacity, not just
Hmm.
not just for cosplay, not just for personal content, but for movies and industries that typically don't look at cosplay from that standpoint. But I think they're starting to recognize the talent that these people have, and that to the point where I may be watching a low budget film and I'm thinking to myself, the costumes in here are horrible. I've seen plays better than this. Like, I think that was my exact thoughts when I watched Cursed on Netflix recently. It was like
Uh-huh.
this fantasy TV series, and I was watching it and I was like, man, these cosplays are lame. Like, I see people wear infinitely better, more realistic looking cosplays than what these people are being paid to wear, basically.
And
So
I bet they get paid so much more too.
yeah, so I think there's been a general shift for cosplayers and prop makers in the cosplay community to transition and become more recognized as skilled craftsmen
Mm-hmm.
in the wider community. And I think that's being recognized in people like Ricky, and prop makers like God Save the Queen Fashions and
And there's
Henchman
also
Studios.
henchmen, exactly, henchmen. There's some friends that I know that start working for Bungie as well, making all the weapons for them, and almost every big gaming company are also hiring a lot of cosplayer to make those fabrications.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. So whether it be cosplayers, prop makers, or even like for myself as uh, I think the wider in community outside of the cosplay world is starting to recognize the talent that's in our community, and they're reaching out to give us more opportunities to do things
Mm.
that typically aren't considered normal cosplay stuff. So, like, for instance, as a content creator on YouTube, people are reaching out to me to propose business opportunities to provide for whether it be to promote a video game or to provide some sort of sponsored content. And I think they're recognizing cosplay content as a viable avenue for them to get their message across. And so, whether it be video or photo content creation, or whether it be cosplay content creation, I think eventually where this is all headed is, hopefully, is a greater acceptance and even an admiration for the work that we're doing in this community, so that way it translates to more real world opportunities outside of the cosplay and convention circuit.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully, some of our work can be seen more on the big screen soon. I mean, we spent a lot of time enjoying this.
I mean, like, obviously COVID's kind of put the brakes on this whole industry. And people are still doing amazing things at home, but definitely it's not the same as being at a convention. And so hopefully
the whole energy is different. Yeah.
I mean, hopefully the lights at the end of the tunnel, hopefully people continue to wear masks and get this contained, and we can get the vaccine done, so at least we can get some sort of sense of normalcy, because obviously I don't think things are going to be fully normal until we get a vaccine.
And even once we get the vaccine, it'll still take a while to making sure that it's working. There's more like people figuring it out, and hopefully there's no allergy. Yeah.
We used to think 2020 was canceled, but now we're starting to think, how far into 2020 basically are we looking at?
Like even if vaccine come out today in August, it'll take at least 3 months to figure out distribution, productions, how long it will take for everyone to get it, and after they got it, how can we verify they do have it? Do they get a card? Like, do you see like a little thing on you put in your pockets, and once they lose it? Yeah.
You're always going to have people that don't believe it and don't wear masks.
Don't want to
don't even get vaccinated. Like,
yeah, if they're not going to get a mask, they're not going to get vaccinated. Yeah.
It's hard enough to get people to get a flu vaccine, let alone a COVID vaccine.
Get a thing that they don't even believe in. Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes. But anyway, thank you so much for being on here. This went way longer than I expected, which is not a problem. I love it. I always fear that's like, oh no, I don't know what to say. But you got lots of information and lots of insights on things that I love talking about.
I appreciate it. No, definitely was a good opportunity to sit. Got to relax on my couch for a little bit longer than usual. So.
Being your sandwich, your little TV sandwich.
TV sandwich. We got my friends in the background. There's Beth right there. Yeah, so
I've been seeing lots of friends on the video. I got distracted every once in a while. I was like, oh look, it's Diana. Oh look, it's who? And it's like, oh great.
That's the biggest thing that I think we all miss about conventions is we just miss being with our friends.
I know, like Gary is in our chat and like always commenting, and he's like 4 a.m. his time because he's in London, and it's like, man, it's fun. But I miss those guys too.
I miss Sneaky. I miss seeing those guys. It was really good seeing them, and I was hoping to go back this year, and I would like to go back again. It was a lot of fun.
I was running around in my own house yesterday, but I just remember how there always comments about me running around. Anyway, how can people find you?
So basically, the content I produce is on my YouTube channel, MineralBlu. Just search MineralBlu without the E at the end. It's BLU. And I usually post content, hopefully more frequently coming up. For the most part, it's cosplay content. Lately, I've been doing the occasional K-pop reaction video, but that's just kind of boring. But other than that, that's mainly where I do. You can also follow me on Instagram. I have a very fledgling TikTok channel that nobody watches.
And that is still going to be a thing within the next year. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, mainly YouTube and Instagram is where you can find me, MineralBlu.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And I hope, we can catch up again once COVID is done. Or maybe we'll do a friend trip. I don't know. We'll see.
Most definitely. I think more than likely we're all going to be in Japan in a couple months.
Yeah, let's go somewhere safe. I actually checked flight the other day. It's not that expensive. Yeah. It's okay. Yeah, it's actually...
I would say more than likely I'll be either in Japan or maybe a friend trip to like some island.
We can go on a bigger island, like New Zealand. Or actually, they might not let us in.
Hawaii,
yeah.
Hawaii or Puerto Rico, maybe.
I mean, technically, I'm able to go in with a different passport, and they don't think I'm American. I thought about that. Anyway, don't worry about it. Nobody say anything. This is great. Thank you so much for being on the show. And thank you everyone for watching. Again, you can watch us, usually on Twitch. You can find, of course, MineralBlu on YouTube. This podcast is also going to be on Spotify, on iTunes, on YouTube. So making sure you go find us. And yeah, enjoy. And I hope you guys love all the cosplay content we produce and a lot more. And I'll see y'all next time.
Stay safe out there.
Stay safe. Wear your mask. Bye.